What's up, RC4 Squad? Mike back with another video. This is going to be an upgrade video for the Kraton 4S, and in this video we're going to be upgrading the upgrade because this car has a ton of upgrades on it already. It's already got a hot racing motor mount that is designed similar to what M2C makes. This has hot racing bell crank and servo saver. It's also got an Octase bumper bash bar under the bottom, and I have had no problems out of this bash bar. It's done great. That's not why I'm changing it. I just want something a little lighter and something a little cooler. This also has the Vitavon hubs front and rear on it. I've had 4 or 5 packs through here and they've been doing epic. So today what we're really going to be looking at are these hex hubs adapters. They're part number 1498. They're listed as for the sledge, but I don't know if you can see, but there's different holes drilled out in this. One hole is for the sledge and one hole works for the 4S line of ARRMAs. They come with those super cool lugs like what's on the sledge now. I'll show you a picture of that somewhere in here. Also got a new motor mount. Now this isn't a like M2C design. This is the M2C design. So I'm pretty stoked to have this one. Now the main difference between the two is material. So this is your 7075 and this is not 7075. So I'm not saying one's better than the other, but we know the difference between 7075 and 6065. And then last but not least, I got my Superboy here helping me today. We got the M2C bash bar that he really loves. Now, let me flip this thing over real quick so I can show you what I mean about, I want to cut the size down a little bit. Let me see this little guy. So if you line this up bolt hole to bolt hole, as you can see, there's a lot cut out of the M2C bash bar. Let me get this back. He wants his bash bar back. So that's going to lighten the load a little bit on it. So I'm pretty excited to put that on. But first things first, let me get the wheels off of this bad boy and setting on a box, and we'll attack the hubs first, because that's the big deal about the video, are these hubs. Okay guys, so this part's pretty easy. All you're really doing is taking this screw out of the end, and then you can pull the pin out, and once you get the pin out, you can pull the hex off and install the new hex. And realistically, it's literally that easy, and we'll get the new one on. Okay, so we got one of the M2C wheel hexes. As you can see, it's 6.5 millimeters thicker, so that pushes the wheel out just a tiny bit. You would use your stock pin, but as I was saying before, you can see there's this hole here really close to the edge, and this hole that's set back a little farther, that's the one for the Kraton. You literally just slide it on, pop your pin in, and then lock it back down. Just like that. And you can screw your lug right on. So that's this side, guys, patched up with this Vitavon hub. It looks pretty cool. So let's just get the rest of these on here, and we'll do it the Kevin Talbot way and see what happens. Okay guys, they're all back on now. So we got these lugs on here looking epic. Again, that's M2C 1498. Says TRAXXAS Sledge, but as you can see, they clearly fit even with aftermarket hubs. she looks beautiful, guys. So we'll get on to the rest of it. We'll get this motor mount pulled out and this bash bar pulled off of this thing and get the last little bits of the upgrades in. Upgrading the upgrades. Okay guys, so we got the wheel hexes on. Now I guess it's time to get this motor mount out, and might as well get the bash bar off at the same time, and then we'll just put the bash bar back on last. So let me get the thing apart. So to get the motor mount out, you just pull the drive shaft out, get the top brace out of the road, obviously get the motor unplugged, and you can slide this whole assembly out. And we'll get that thing out, and then I'll cut back once I have it out in my hand, and we'll get it split open to show you a side-by-side comparison of the M2C version and this hot racing version. I can already tell you that the support is thinner here on this version than on the M2C version. Okay guys, so as you can see, I got it apart, and before I go any further cleaning anything else up, I really just wanted to show you all the metal shavings. I don't know if they'll show up on the camera, but this is full of them. The bottom of the chassis was full of them. For sure, with this M2C having this cut out, I'll cut my chassis like I normally do. That other bash bar doesn't have that notch in it, and this is what needs to fall out of the chassis. So that's why that's important. Other than that, the big things that I see different between these two are the M2C is only 6mm, where this is 7mm. But the big difference is in these supports, and this is the big deal about this. As you can see, the M2C one is a good bit thicker at 8mm, where this is only 6mm. And if you can see that dovetail that's cut into that slides into this notch. And the hot racing one is just a square, so you can just stick it on there. It's not actually sliding and locking into there per se. So I'm gonna definitely give the points all to the M2C one. So let me get all this stuff cleaned up, and I will get it all put back together. And before I put it back in the car, I'll bring it back to you, showing you guys what it looks like installed into the case. Okay, as you guys can see, I got the motor mount in the case. I had to do a little different bolt strategy with this because the bolts that was in last worked, because this is actually a thicker plate than this. That millimeter was enough, so I had to get a little shorter screws. I remember before I had that issue, and that's why I didn't run this motor until I swapped out to that mount. So now I got the Leopard motor in on the M2C mount, and I'll go ahead and get ready to get that installed back in the car so I can put this Epic brace in. And I do got to get the bash bar swapped out, so once I get the bash bar opened, I will show you what it looks like laying on top of the other one. Okay guys, so this is all set up and done. I mean, this is how it'll set it down inside the car with the block. Now I just got to pull out these bolts and get this bash bar off. Take this from the baby, who is absolutely loving it. Say thank you, Avery. So this will be the M2C bash bar. Once I get them this old one off, I'll show you side by side what the differences are between this Oak bumper one and this M2C one. Okay guys, so I got the old one off and I took some measurements. So this is a piece of 5mm that's been CNC'd, and when I got it, I'm pretty sure that this was still a prototype when I got mine, and it did come with the screws, but I had to make these aluminum spacers. I just felt that they were very needed. The M2C one actually comes with some CNC little billet looking inserts to go in for the mounting screws, and where this was a 5mm, this is a 7mm. And as you can see, when you lay them on top of each other, there's a good bit cut out on the sides to lighten it up a little bit versus this one. So I'll go ahead and get this bar put on the Kraton. That way I have this little guide to drill out the chassis before I stick the motor back in. So when I bring you back, I'll have it all back together and show you what it looks like all installed and back together. Okay guys, just to pop back in to show you where I drilled this hole. Having this M2C chassis brace with that guide hole was so easy. That's the easiest one I've ever had to do. Literally just put the brace on, got my drill bit, and just drilled straight through it. And then there it is. That'll let all that dirt and debris that I showed you that was inside the motor case fall out of this hole and down through that hole. Okay guys, there it is. The Kraton is back together. It's got the M2C extreme bashing, heavy duty motor mount, whatever you want to call it. It's all installed, looking great. It's got the bash bar installed, looking great. It's got these 6.5 millimeter extended hex adapters with those awesome looking M2C lugs. All there is left to do is bash, guys. So until next time, I'm Mike with RC4Us. Don't forget to check out M2C for all the great parts. Next time, guys.